or something. And I said, okay, you have to be skeptical in science. And when I did it again and saw the same thing, I got very excited. I presented my research on Alzheimer's at the Intel International Science Fair. Judges came by and grilled me on my research.
I thought if this cell death is so programmed, then it must be possible to inhibit this cell death.
I remember that when they got to Best in Medicine, they announced my name. And I was just so excited to even get there, let alone to do well there. I walked up to that stage, and that was when I realized that this is the beginning of the rest of my scientific life.
How do you explain how a 17-year-old girl is coming up with something that is, baffling some of the leading minds around the world?
I mean, I set this as a goal for myself, and I just love doing the research, and I love being a part of it.
I work in a cancer research lab trying to understand how leukemia specifically, but cancer in general, arises and moves throughout the body and how it resists therapy. I do this by studying cells in culture. I do this by studying mice, which have different types of cancer, and I try to figure out in them why cancer is there, what's it doing, and how we can hopefully develop mechanisms to better treat it and one day take it to the clinic. Was that 30 seconds? Yeah. Yes, I was called Doogie in the first lab I worked in. My basement lab was when I was 11. 14.2 miles. The Killers, Beach Boys, sometimes classical. Microscopes. Sorry. Is that right? Wait, sorry? The Canadian Way. George Clooney. House. Does that count? Cancer. It affects so many people, and it's just such a terrible disease, even the way that it's treated. Understanding disease in a human being.
Iraq launched 3 airstrikes on the northern city of Mosul today as intelligence experts try to verify the identity of a man seen on a much-discussed video yesterday. Charlie D'Agata is in Baghdad.
Iraqi officials won't say for certain that the man in this video is Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, leader of the most feared militant group in Iraq, making a very public appearance in the city of Mosul. Today, the Iraqi military spokesman said analysts are still studying the video. Al-Baghdadi's ISIS militant group, made up of Sunni extremists, has been battling Iraq's largely Shiite government forces and destroying Shiite holy sites in territory under their control. In an effort to stop them, Shiite militias have formed an army in the city of Samarra, the site of one of their holiest shrines. But ISIS has also leveled Sunni shrines in the belief they're against their more strict form of Islam. This is one of the largest Sunni shrines in Baghdad, and the people that we've spoken to here say they have suffered the most under this government. Yet when we asked if they were worried about an increase in sectarian violence considering what's happening here, we got mixed opinions. They're a terrorist gang, said Haji Yusuf, the shrine's community leader. If they come to Baghdad, they will demolish the shrines.
Even
Sunni?
Yes.
But Ahmed Kadir, a Sunni and former soldier, believes ISIS will fail in its aim to start a sectarian war because Iraqis will unite to fight a common enemy. We're not scared, he told us. We fought many wars with Iran, even the United States. Many of those in the mosque won't be able to remember a time when there wasn't war. Now, it's just a question of how bad it gets. It may be hard to believe, but some of the people we spoke to said they still have faith in the Iraqi army to stop ISIS. More were putting their faith in God. One thing many had in common was the belief that should ISIS militants reach Baghdad, it could be the start of an all-out civil war. Jeff?
Charlie D'Agata, thank you very much. The TSA announced increased security at many overseas airports today. It will not allow cell phones or other electronics on flights bound for the U.S. if those devices can't power on. Mark Strassman has more on that.
Today's announcement tightening airport security applies to flights originating from Europe and the Middle East, bound for the United States. In security lines overseas, travelers will be asked to turn on personal electronics such as cell phones and tablets. Any device discovered to have no power won't be allowed on the plane. 19-year-old Brent Sahadi is headed to Israel and intends to charge his devices before he flies back in 3 weeks.
I know how much safer I'm going to feel knowing that the security is going to be much stronger than it was before.
In a statement, Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson said, "We will continue to adjust security measures to promote aviation security without unnecessary disruptions to the traveling public." The government says no new specific intelligence led to today's stepped-up measures.
How impressive is the redesigned Ford Mustang?
At times I understand you, and I know how hard you try. And sometimes when we touch, the honesty,
It makes everything more exciting. Even this song.
Corporate funding for NOVA is provided by. Foundation funding is provided by.
It's day 4 on orbit. The first spacewalk is about to begin.
Drew, this is your first spacewalk. What do you feel? What do you think?
Excited.
Yeah, I can tell you, man. You're ready to go. You're going to do great.
I'm ready. Thanks, buddy.
Awesome, man. And John, this is like spacewalk number 714? 6. Okay, great.
Ready, Drew? I'm ready, John. Let's go do this. Oh, this is fantastic.
Drew and John's first task is the #1 science priority for the mission. Install a much more powerful wide-field camera. They'll loosen one bolt, remove the old camera, insert the new camera, and retighten the bolt. It's one of the simplest jobs on the entire mission. But early on, there's a big problem. When Drew tries to loosen the bolt holding in the old camera, it refuses to budge. If Drew can't get this bolt loose, the first job on the first spacewalk will grind to a halt.
Jim Kill is slipping.
The only people who can solve this are the ones outside with their hands on Hubble, John and Drew. Yet they're not alone. A spacewalker with a problem has a vast network supporting him. 5 astronauts inside the shuttle. Tomas Gonzalez and Christy Hansen in mission control. And behind them, engineers who know Hubble better than anyone else on the planet.
We know the telescope. We know what hardware is broken. We know what the interfaces are. We need a flathead screwdriver or a certain kind of wrench or whatever.
Now, as Drew struggles to loosen a stuck bolt, engineers call up all the information they have on that bolt starting with its torque, the turning force needed to loosen it.
Every single screw is installed with a specific torque value, and there's paperwork that goes back that we can see what torque value was actually applied to that fastener.
To make sure Drew can't over-torque the bolt, his wrench has a torque limiter on it called the MTL. When it reaches the limit, the MTL will slip to protect the bolt from breaking.
Math, I put in 3 attempts, got 3 MTL slips, and see no motion in the latch bolt.
The only option now, get rid of the torque limiter.
Try it without an MTL at all. What are the implications if I over-torque and break the bolt? Sure you want to know?
If Drew breaks the bolt, the old instrument will never come out. Hubble will be stuck with an obsolete digital camera. The new state-of-the-art wide-field camera will return to Earth unused.
My heart was absolutely as low as it could be. The potential of wide-field camera 3 for discoveries, was slipping away.
All I could do was apply the best technique that I could.
Okay, here we go. I think I got it. It turned. It definitely turned.
Yes! Houston 3PA, we copied and saw that. That's great news.
My heart's still pounding.
Almost lost it.
Almost lost it.
There we go. And the wide field planetary camera 2 is clear of the structure of the telescope.
That's awesome news, Dan.
When you're cranking on a bolt, whether it's in your garage or in space, it's either going to break or it's going to come loose.
In the end, John and Drew get the powerful new camera installed. But the close call was almost a tragic loss for science.
All systems go. 3.
We may not know who he is, but we know what kind of car he drives.
1.
You think you can outrun him? Then you don't understand the meaning of speed. He's the best chance we got.
Now, during the Ford Summer Spectacular, get a blockbuster deal. A Mustang with $1,000 matching down bonus cash. Now playing at a Ford dealer near you.